When the lottery jackpot hits ridiculously high numbers, I will sometimes buy a ticket not because I think I'm going to win. Yeah, that's never the case. But because I get to dream about what I would do if I did win. And today I want to give you a couple of my dreams for work for 2025.
Next level coaching.
Hey, I'm Jim Kelly with Next Level Coaching, and I'm here to bring your career to the next level. So, while you're here, gently hit that like button, gently hit the subscribe button. We won't want to hurt your phone, but we would like to see this channel grow so that more people can get more good information. Right? It's a pretty good goal. But usually, while you're here, I'm here to give you completely factual information that's going to help you make better decisions for your career. But today, I want to talk about 3 wishes I have for work for 2025. Now, these are all based in sound logical reasoning, as everything I do. But, I do think these are just things I want to happen. They're not necessarily things that are going to happen. And I'm going to give you the who, what, where, and why on why I think they should happen. All right. And without any further ado, let's get into it. So, starting us off, it's going to be for employment contracts for everyone. Now, executives already get employment contracts, but I think everyone should get an employment contract so that they know, hey, my first 3 months into the role, I can be let go because I'm not working out. Cool. After that, I have my full contract's length. Let's say we sign a 1 year contract. Now, employment contracts are common in other places in the world. This is not something that's foreign or, out of the realm of possibilities. But let's say we have 1 year contracts. So at about month 9, month 10, somewhere around there, you then get with your employer and go, okay, we'd like to extend this contract out another year? Or, are you going to be in, free agency like you would be in sports? Or, does the employee not want to continue the relationship? Because this helps both the employer and employee. Because during the rest of the year, when you're locked in, neither one of you has to worry about, oh, so and so is going somewhere, because they're locked into a contract. Now, both sides could come together and go, hey, we don't want to work together anymore, and void the contract. That's fine, because then you have both sides having power. And that's really how it should be. But so we're making it so that people are going to job hop a little bit less. That when it comes time to renegotiate, sticking around for a year, you're brought up to market value. So we're no longer fighting for raises at the end of the year and hoping if an employer doesn't want to pay you and they don't have a good justification for it of, well, we made 16 billion in profits, but we can't afford to pay you a dime more. It doesn't make any sense, right? Unless we know that there's going to be a sharp decline the next year. That there could be logic behind that, sure. But in the case where we know that they are being profitable and they're going to continue to be profitable, if they want to try to keep you at the same rate, well, you might want to explore free agency at that point. And, that would be to your benefit as an employee. As an employer, I want to keep this institutional knowledge here. This guy's a great employee. This girl's a great employee. Let me keep him. I'll lock him in. Fantastic. I have someone who is not so great of an employee, but they're not particularly doing anything wrong. I no longer have to come up with a huge HR story to get rid of them. I don't have to do 10 weeks of, documentation and spend hours and hours on coaching if I know that the employee is literally not putting any effort in. I can go, okay, we're coming up on renewals. We're not going to be renewing your contract. You have a couple months, figure out what you would like to do. and, move on. So this will help get rid of ineffective employees if, that's what the business wants to do. It will help retain top tier employees and, make everyone have transparency and stability, which is a fantastic thing. The next wish on my list, and this is probably the most likely one to happen, is salary ranges being put into job ads. So if you go to a supermarket and, there's no price on the apple, you're going to go, okay, this apple's probably $1.50. You're not going to be going, I need to talk to the store clerk 13 times to find out what they're actually going to charge me for this apple. And, no matter what it is, I'm going to be happy with it because, they say that's the price of the apple. No, that doesn't work out. So when you have to go through, 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 or more stages of interviews, and you still haven't talked about pay, and then it finally comes around and you're 40, 50K off, that's a bit of a problem. Everyone involved just had their time wasted when it could have been an upfront conversation. And, some companies will claim they don't put the salary in the ad because they don't want their competitors to know what you pay. Your competitors don't care what you pay. They care what people will take to work for them. So if, down the street they're paying an extra $1 an hour, they're paying an extra 10K, is it a possibility that they're going to go work there instead? Yes, but it's also a possibility that place has a completely toxic workplace and nobody wants to work there. And that's why they have to pay more. So, there is a balancing act of this. And you should know what your market value for a role is based on whether you're getting applicants for the honest wage you are paying. And if you're not, you need to reconsider what you're paying for the role. It is as simple as that. If you think your culture is worth 10K, try paying 10K less. If you think your benefits are worth X amount, try paying X amount less, and be upfront and honest about your benefits. Put that out there so people go, oh, I'm applying for, XYZ company. Well, they're going to give me 5 weeks of vacation. They're going to pay 99% of my health care, and they're going to do X, Y, and Z, right? Where I can go down the street and make 20K more, but they're only going to give me 3 weeks of vacation, and they're going to make me pay for, 25% of my health care. Well, it's obvious that, I like having time off. I want to go work for that one employer. It lets people have agency when they're looking for firms that they want to work for instead of trying to go off of hearsay. I hear employees get X, Y, and Z off of this company. I hear that so-and-so treats their employees that way. Be upfront and honest. It really works out for the best for everyone. You stop wasting everyone's time. It gets you a better reputation. And more companies are putting the salary range in their ads. That's why I'm hopeful that this one could actually happen more and more in 2025. And my last wish for 2025 is the right to disconnect. Now, depending on what level of employee you are going to have less of a right to disconnect because when you're getting paid more, they should expect slightly more from you. And that's generally the way it goes in business. The higher your rank is, the more hours per week you're putting in, right? And that makes sense. You're getting paid a differential for that. Cool. Absolutely. The CEO should be available whenever because they're making a lot more money. The COO absolutely should be available, whenever is necessary for business purposes. But there are plenty of employees who are down near the bottom of the totem pole who shouldn't necessarily have to be available 24/7. They should have a time of day where after this point, you are not responsible for answering an email. unless there is an absolute emergency. There was a, shutdown of a region for some reason. The internet went out, and we're all in, a mode where we have to panic and get things done to cover for them. There are absolute business exceptions to this, and, emergencies happen, right? I'm not saying they don't. But on the average day, you know, so and so, your X rank, you should be done by this time if you started by Y time. That should always be flexible based on start times, etc., etc. But I digress. Now, this is something that would never go into effect without there actually being regulation around it, because these regulations have been coming in around the world, so it is not a completely different concept that no one's ever implemented and makes no sense. We have staggering amounts of burnout in America, today. More burnout than ever before, because there's more pressures than ever before, because it's easier to keep working. People don't need to go home because a lot of people are working those extra hours from home. So we need a right to disconnect to go into effect, and they can figure out if you're in XYZ position in a company, you have to be available these X amount of extra hours. So, otherwise you have emails going to your phone 24/7, and people expect responses 24/7, and people aren't getting enough sleep. And if you are working too many hours, you are less productive for the company. They are shooting themselves in the foot by making you work too much. So there they are. They're my 3 wishes for 2025 for business. These are not my complete long shots. These will never happen, but this will be best for business. No, these are my semi-reasonable. They've been implemented in other parts of the world. Hey, why don't we consider this, on a go-forward basis? And as you see, I had, logic and reasoning behind each one of those points. It's not because I want this to happen willy-nilly. No. Although it is very fun to say willy-nilly, I recommend saying it. Try saying it 3 times in a row. You'll enjoy it. But I digress. There are absolute business reasons for each and every one of these things that is good for both the employee and the employer, because I want both sides to do well. It is better for more people if more businesses do well. And if you are a business and you think, hey, any of these ideas sound good, you could get a competitive advantage by picking them up. And isn't that what it's all about? Having competitive advantage so that you get more market share and make more money? Yes, it is. So please feel free to steal my ideas. I am putting them out there for free so that you have them and can use them. All right. With that, I'm going to say to you, if you celebrate the holidays, happy holidays. If you don't, and you're like me, and it's just average day, enjoy your day. You have a fantastic time, and I will see you soon.